pledge and the song, and then I'll be back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we're having trouble with the song. Bear with me.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand safe. Oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'd rather stand up today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless this country. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless
Yes, yes, yes. God bless the USA. Proud to be an American. You know, I keep going to these social sites. Not as much as I have. I'm having a lot of trouble with my phone. As a matter of fact, my son just ordered me a new one. It will be in sometime Friday or Saturday. But I want to thank everybody for being here. Myrna and Janet. One Voice was just on a little call with Myrna a little bit ago with getting an update on Cindy and home. The surgery did not go the way she had planned it. They actually had to do things that they weren't hoping to do, but that's how it happened. She is doing okay. She's but I still would like everyone to keep their prayers for her. Guys, there's not a lot out there. Now, as I say, there's not a lot out there. We had a little call with Myrna and Diane and Xavier, Cindy and Jana, myself, Ron, Michael. Hope I didn't forget anyone.
Jana.
I said Jana. But anyway, I think the purpose of the call was to get an update on Cindy, which I'm glad she's doing better. She's been in my prayers since I found out. And then Diane, with two N's, was very, very excited. And she said, if I call you tonight on the call, you better answer. And I said, I will. And then I thinking I can't answer because I use my phone. So if TNT Tony has something which she's expecting, then she will be giving Ron a call, and then Ron will hand me his phone and I'll let you guys hear what she has to say. You know, it's funny, everyone, how things happen. Today I had to go to the doctor for Ron, for myself too, but we're having trouble with our heart specialist. Doesn't want to release any medicine to Ron and me until we come into his office and see him, because there's got to be the bucks. There's got to be the money. They got to get paid to write a prescription. God forbid we had doctors out there that would literally go out and want to be our doctor and not worry about how much money is going to go in his pocket. So I made a trip. I drove 45 minutes one way to go talk to him. And wouldn't you know, today's the day he spends all day at the hospital. Oh. But I talked to his receptionist, and his receptionist says, well, he's adamant that you can't, until you can get in to see him, he can't write you no more prescriptions. They can't even find a day to book Ron a new meeting, a new appointment. And my next appointment with him, as I just booked it here a while back, the earliest they could get me in is August 24th. There's no way our medicine's gonna last that long. But then again, it's just one of those things that when these beds come out, I tell you, some of these doctors, the first thing I'm going to tell them is, I'm going to literally put it right in their face and tell them to kiss it. And unlike my head, that place has hair. It's just ridiculous the way people are. And we're going to get into some things, but I want to talk to the kids. Super Jimmy and Patriot 11, Karate Kid and Wyatt Earp, Boogie Boogs Boogaloo Boogaroo, Hunter and our queen, our princess, Haley, Leona and Leilon, Super Gymnast, Patriot 7, Small Hank, the little monkey, Addison, and Kira. There's a few of you in there that's not even in school yet, but for the ones that's in school, this should be pretty exciting times. It should be pretty exciting times that you're going through. You're almost to the summer break. And yes, I do believe we are going to have a summer. I do believe it. Last week, me and Ron was talking about seeing about getting a window air conditioner for his house, because when we got the new furnace put in, we could get enough money, me and him together, to get the furnace put in. But when it come to getting the air conditioner fixed, we wasn't able to do that. So when we and him are down here together, We spend 90% of the time right here in this room. The ones we're looking at, little window ones, was, right there, and, heat, 2, 3 rooms, real good. I mean, cool 2 or 3 rooms. And we was really looking into it very strongly. And then 2 days later, it got to 48 degrees at night. It hasn't been above 62 for the last 3 days. Last Friday, as you know, we had to cancel the show because we had lost power, we had lost internet. We was having winds of, pardon?
Sandstorm.
We had a sandstorm that you couldn't see. I mean, and living where I live, right across in Ron, right across from Fields, living like that, I mean, I tried driving home in it. I had to pull over twice because you just couldn't see. But the weather's going to get there, kids, and you're going to be able to get out and you're going to be able to play. And that's what I want to emphasize. Get out and play. Don't get on your computers. Don't get on your tablets. Don't get on your cell phones. Go out and play and be kids. My grandson, small hand, he is like his dad. He's very, more or less like a little genius when it comes to tablets and computers. And so is my son Brandon. But the thing that's different between my grandson and my son at that age, my son just wanted to stay up in his room and play with his Power Rangers because, back then, he'll be 41 years old in September. And back then, really the cell phones wasn't, and the tablets, he was just, but now they're everywhere. But my little grandson would rather go outside and play on the trampoline, go outside and play with his friends, go out and do the things he really enjoys doing. Now, don't get me wrong, when he's in the house, he wants to watch TV or he wants to get on a tablet or he wants to do something on his phone. Now, when I say his phone, he doesn't have a real phone. A phone as far as where he can call everybody. He has an old phone that he can call certain people. He can call me. He can call 4 or 5 other people, his mom and his dad, in case he's at the park or something and he needs something. He cannot get on games without their putting in a code to do things. They monitor it very, very tremendously. But kids, what I'm saying is, this might be the longest summer vacation break you ever got in your life. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, stick around when I start talking to the grown-ups. I'm going to talk about something that will kind of explain why it might be an extra long vacation break for you. I was talking to Diane and the girls, Ron and Michael and that, on that little call we had just before the show tonight. And it's coming, guys. It's coming. So just be kids. Do you guys know the game Red Rover? Red Rover, send Ralphie right over. Do you know that game? Do you know the game Hide and Seek? Do you know what it feels like when you walk outside after supper? Your mom says, be in the yard when the street lights come on. If you're not, you won't be going outside. Do you know what it's like to sit down with all your family at either the dining room or the kitchen table, and you discuss as you're eating supper what you did that day? Do you know what it's like to have to do chores? And I say all this stuff because this is stuff we had to do. Do you know what it's like that when mom cooks something, or dad, in the way today's world is, when we all cook something and we have something for supper and it's on the table and you say, I don't like that. I see it all the time with my grandkids. I don't want that. So they get up and make them something else. When I was a kid that age, if it was put on a kitchen table and you said, I don't want that, I want something else, you'd get something else. Supper the next night, breakfast the next morning, lunch the next day. There wasn't, hey mom, I'm going to go outside and play. Put my stuff in the microwave and I'll heat it up. You was there for supper or you didn't eat. Those who ate fast could get the extra piece of chicken. Those who like to talk went a little hungrier. And I'm telling you, I'm not saying this to complain about my childhood. God, I wouldn't want it any other way. But what I'm saying is, if you'd ever experience some of these things, you'd understand what it's like to really live. We had the greatest childhoods of anyone. You know, you never know what time people's going to eat suppers now. Man, we knew what time we was going to eat, and if we weren't there, hey, it wasn't mom said, well, let me put a plate up for Ralphie. He's out playing, and I'm going to put a plate up on, and we'll heat it up later. No. Ralphie wasn't at the table. Ron wasn't at the table. It wasn't plate saved, guys. We didn't eat. And it wasn't because they was mean to us. We had rules and regulations we lived by. But the one that bothers me the most is if a mom or a dad swats their kid on a butt, they think they have the right to call the police and have them arrested. And I brought this up because I was just seeing a commercial the other day, or a show, and these police officers showed up at these people's house and they knocked on the door. The lady answered and they said, are you so and so? And she said, yes, I am. She says, ma'am, we have a warrant for your arrest. And she said, why? Abuse. She says, I didn't abuse anybody. The little boy was standing behind and said, I'm the one that made the call, officer. She spanked my butt. What did you do? And he told her. And she says, has she spanked your butt before? A couple of times. What did you do? And he told her. And he said, son, mark this as a warning. If I ever have to come back to this house again for you calling for something like that, I'll take her belt and I'll spank your butt. And that's the way it should be. A kid tells his parents that they can do something like that. But see, it's a different grade of kids. That's why, guys, our kids here and kids out there, for the kids listening to this, you don't know how many people we have in our group that want to work with kids when all of this is done. When all of this is taking place and we're doing what we need to do, you won't believe how many want to work with you guys to show you the right way, to show you the fun way. And as I said, in a little bit, I'm going to discuss something about what could give you a very long summer vacation. So that concludes our talk with the children tonight. It may not have been the talk you like, but it's a talk you need to hear. Be a kid and have fun. Forget about them, all them electronic things. Go out and play. Play catch. Run. You know, my grandson, Patriot 7, he gets all these guns with these little darts. Seems like every birthday or Christmas, someone's giving him a bigger one than the year before. He shoots his darts and he loses them. And my son gave my grandson over 100 darts in a gun last year. He has no idea where hardly any of them are. They go outside, they shoot them, and they don't pick them up. They just let them lay. Because they know they're going to get another one for their Christmas or birthday or something else. When I was a kid his age, when we played Cowboys and Indians, which you never see anybody playing Cowboys and Indians, but when we played Cowboys and Indians, we picked up a stick from a tree, or we cut a branch off of a tree, and that was our gun. We would take another branch and take a string and put in there and act like that was our bow so we could play Cowboys and Indians. Now, oh man, you can go into Walmart, all these other stores like this, Target and places like that. Man, you can buy these things with the little rubber things, where they can shoot anybody. Be a kid. Think. So as I was saying, that concludes the show for the kids tonight, and these shows are not made for children, but we're glad you're here. You can watch them if you have permission from your parents, grandparents, or legal guardians. The music that we played tonight also is not our music. It's something that we have adopted as a theme song. We've adopted it as a theme song, and we play it. We have no legal rights to it. So, talking about the theme song, everyone. Last week, when our president was in another country and he was he was treated very, very welcoming. So much so that when he got up to speak, when he's coming on stage, they played Proud to Be an American. And everybody in this country that was there, and there was thousands of people there, stood and applauded him. Isn't it amazing? He can go to another country and he can be like a god, but for these rats here in the United States of America, they think he's the worst thing ever happened. And he is the worst thing that ever happened to them because he's their biggest nightmare. When they close their eyes to go to sleep at night, they see him dancing to YMCA. They see him singing along with Proud to Be an American. He is so deep in their head that they couldn't get it out if they took dynamite and blew their heads off. It's just unbelievable where he's at. Has he done everything that we want him to do? Nope. Or has he? Just because we are not seeing it, and I can't believe I'm saying this here, but just because we can't see it doesn't mean he's not doing it. Think of yourself, everybody. Mike, Papa G, Larry. I think it's not Mike, it's Mikiw. Janet, think about it. How are you going to feel when one morning you get up and everything that you're looking at is going to be what we've been waiting for? How are you going to feel when there is no more MSN, one of the most corrupt organizations, stands for mainstream, and I think you know what the N stands for? How are you going to feel when there's no more, when it's all shut down, when it's nothing? Are you going to smile? Are you going to put a happy face on? Because it's coming. Supposedly on the 16th of this month, which was 3 days ago, our fearless leader signed something that we call the Big N. And we know what that's going to do. It's going to take all wars away. It's going to take all debt away. It's going to do all this and all that. When is it going to be announced? My opinion, very soon. And I'm not giving a date. I'm not giving a date. But I have heard this man that we believe in. I've heard this man say on countless things, and so have you, we're going to have a jubilee to outdo any jubilee ever in the world. starting on Memorial Weekend. Now, I'm not 100% sure if he said Memorial Weekend or if he said Memorial Day. If it's more Memorial Weekend, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say it's got to start at least Saturday. If it's Memorial Day, then it has to start a week from today. Is that a possibility why he's going all over the world? Showing the love that he has from all of these countries? Let's face it, the love that he has in all these other countries, if there was ever an election for king of the world, who do you think would get it? I think I know, and I think you do too. But see, I'm not worried about king of the world. I'm worried about him taking care and doing this right there. Make America great again. Now, I have to talk about this hat because I had a little bit of a situation Saturday. I had to go to a CVS store to pick up my prescriptions. I had 3 of them there. And I went in there, and there was this little lady. She had to be 80 to 82, 85 years old. To be honest with you, she reminded me a lot of my mom. And she's in front of me, a couple people ahead of me, and after she pays her whatever she had to pay, I heard the guy that was waiting on her, who was the main guy there, it says here you're up for a pneumonia shot and a shot, that they give out in 2020. And she says, why? He said, I don't know. It just says it right here on the screen. She says, okay, when can I get them? Well, you can get them both today if you want. Just step aside when you're done and we'll get to you when we don't have as many people in line. Person right after her, because I was 3 back, person right after her gets up there, and when she gets her prescription filled, he says the same thing to her. They step aside. Person in front of me gets his medicine, and they said the same thing to them. At this point, I'm starting to prepare myself, right? I go up to get mine, and I just changed the insurance company, so I get all my medicine free now. Because with the congestive heart failure, the girl who signed me up to this new program put me in the high risk, even though it's not really that big of a deal. So by doing it, she got me everything free. Something that I was paying $120 some every 3 months, I now get free. But I get up there, and he hands me my stuff, and he says, no charge, sir. Would you like your receipt? And I said, what do I need a receipt for free for? And he looked at me and said, sir, it says right here on the screen that they want you to get a, pneumonia shot. I said, I've already had it. Well, they want you to get the other one, the 2020 shot. And I said, no. And I said, sir, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but you owe an apology to the people here that you're waiting on and you're taking care of, because you're lying. Well, it says right here, sir, right here in your records, it says you're due for what shot that they did in 2020 because you haven't had one for a little over a year. I said, it says that? Yeah. I said, now I know you're lying. He said, sir, you can't talk to me like that. And I said, no, quit lying. And he says, well, what makes you think I'm lying? I will not comply, I will not surrender, and I will not give in. You know what that means, sir? He says, what? I says, I would not take that shot. I never did have that sickness, because all that sickness was an overblown, made up sickness for you people to become rich. And I looked at the people around me and I said, I may have to look for a new place to get my medicine. But if you people go and listen to this man and take that shot, you're endangering yourself. And I pulled out an article and I showed them where 99 point some percent of the people who have not had the shot are very, very healthy. And the people who are very, very sick. And this is the man that wants to give you a shot. Then I looked at the man and I said, sir, could you do me a favor since you know everything? He said, what? Sir, he says, I'm not liking what you're saying here. I said, what? You don't like the truth? I said, I have the statistics here, sir. What can you show me? Tell me what's in that shot. Tell me what you're trying to put in all of these people's here's arms. He said, well, I don't know what it is. I said, wow. And this is the guys, I looked at the people and I said, this is the man that you're putting your trust in. The 4 people that went up before me all turned, walked out the door and thanked me. They did not comply. Exactly, Tony. You did not comply either. Congratulations. They walked out. But when is our president going to put a stop to this? When are these people going to pay for trying to hurt people? And that has to stop. And it has to stop now. Now, I had someone I care about got with me today. And they said, if you don't make a big issue about it, I'd like you to talk about something. I said, okay. I said, well, whether I make a big issue or not, your name won't be brought up. And the question this person had for me, and I want you guys to listen, because if you guys can come up with an answer, I'd appreciate it. Because me and this person has no idea what it is. Our leader, our man, is signing all these things, bills, for, how was it the person put it, Ron?
For the Commonwealth.
For the law that we've been in, he's signing all these bills to enhance them. But if we're going to a new law, why is he enhancing something that's not even going to be around? That was the question from this friend of ours. Why is he signing bills for the law that we've been in for the last however many years that we all know as crooked as the day is 24 hours long? If the day is 24 hours long, who knows anymore? But why is he putting such emphasis on that? Is he doing it as a smokescreen to make the rats think he doesn't really have a clue what he's doing? And in the meantime, he's taken a long journey around to stick it right where it hurts. So I don't know if anybody's got an idea. Everything is crooked. I mean, it's a good possibility. So I thought it was a valid question, but like I said, when this person says, I just don't want you to get really going on, I says, first of all, here's my feelings. We're going to the go back standard. We're going to the big N and big G. There will be no more wars. We'll all have money. We'll live like in heaven on earth. But until we get there, it doesn't make any sense to enhance what's going away. Now, my big complaint is, I've already mentioned it, the news, MSN, whatever you want to call it, news, mainstream. And my complaint is, why are these people not been taken away? And they keep saying the first arrest is going to shock the world, but then they keep saying people are getting arrested. They're having their tribunals. They're doing this, they're doing that. Well, see, one voice, John, Janet, I am guess when you go into your bank, when you go into your bank to do banking, when you go in there, do you literally know who the president of your bank is? Know who the main people running it is? No. But these are the people supposedly being taken away. They're coming to take you away. Hey, hey, they're coming. You know what I mean? But we don't know them. So I could care less if they're getting arrested. I'm glad they are. I don't want to see things change, but the bottom line is we don't know these people. We don't know what they're doing and how they're doing it. So I try too, Janet. I try to stay away from banks as much as possible. The bank I bank at, they took the front door away and they put it someplace else. And I'll be danged if I can find it. So I just go to the drive-in if I got to go to the bank. I actually had to go there today because I told you my phone is pretty much shot. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on with it, but well, it's old. I mean, it's a cheap phone to begin with. Their lifespan is usually about 2 years, and I'm going into like 3.5, close to 4 years with it. So I got my monies out of it, and my son ordered me a new phone the other day. I paid him for it tonight. But I do have something here. Breaking. Retired 4-star Navy Admiral, and I'm not going to give you his name, but you might call him Bob P. We'll just call him Bob P. Age 63 has been found guilty of federal charges including bribery, conspiracy to commit bribery, acts affecting a personal financial interest, and concealment of material facts. The conviction stems from a scheme when the admiral, while serving as a 4-star admiral in 2021, awarded $355,000 sole source contract to a New York-based company. Next jump for workforce training in Italy and Spain. In exchange, he secured post-retirement job with net jump starting in October 2022 with a $500,000 annual salary and $100,000 stock options. The admiral retired August 2022 as a commander of U.S. Naval Force in Europe and Africa, was the Navy's former Vice Chief of Naval Operations and Chief of Naval Personnel. The bribery scheme involved the admiral's allegedly steering contracts to NextJump's CEOs. I'm not even going to pronounce their names. And that the admiral was accused of lying to the Navy about his role in the contract and the timing of employment discussions to cancel the scheme. The admiral faces up to 30 years in prison through first-time offenders typically receive lighter penalties. This case marks him as the highest-ranking U.S. military officer ever convicted of a crime. Well, he's 63 and he faces up to 30 years. And I'm not going to be a smart butt here, but I'm going to give him a little advice. Plead guilty, take his 30 years with the promise that before he goes in to start his 30 years, he gets to get on a special bed and go back to 28. And I wanted to bring that up, and that's just more or less, okay, me being me. But me and Ron was reading or watching a video, and when they say that, people our age can go back to 28. But here's the thing that really caught me. You go back there, and when you age, when you go a year, you're going to be a year older. So in my case, I would still be 72, but I would feel still like I'm 28. And the reason I said, even though a year was passed, or I should be 72 and feel like I'm 29, is they're saying this process works in a way that before you feel like you've aged a year, you actually go about 15 years, wasn't it, Ron?
Yep.
15 years. So think about it, guys. If you go back, Bill Woods, David, generally, you could go back to the Civil War time and still be a young man. But if you go back to 28, and in my case, I would be 71, I go back there. And before I'm going to feel another year older to be 29, 15 years would go by. So by the time I would actually, when going back to get back up to 71, that's what, 41 years? Or 40 years? 43 years? You know, that's a lot of years, 600 years. But see, I'm a firm believer that God wants heaven on earth so bad. There's still going to be heaven. The people are there, they're there. But there's going to come a time when we're just living heaven on earth. And I believe there's going to be a time that we'll never die. We'll just be here doing what we do. That's my belief. Now, it's for the guys, when I say this is not something I read. This is not something I have been told. This is just something that all the things coming together, this is how I feel. I may be right. I may be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I don't know yet. But all I'll tell you is I like living this way. I like the fact that I believe also if we do live heaven on earth, and this is important what I'm about to say, if we do live something like this, I believe that someone says, but if we never die, we'll never be reunited with the ones we lost. You know, you take my sister. She would never be reunited if she lives to be whatever with her husband, who she loves dearly. Now, would she be willing to do that? Well, maybe in the fact that I believe that there will be, I'm not saying every day, but I do believe that people from heaven will, actually, we will be able to communicate with them. I mean, you know, here's the thing. They talk so much about these aliens, how smart these aliens are, how smart these aliens are this and this and this. Well, wouldn't they be out of place because are we that smart here on Earth? But no, I mean, you guys, when I'm doing this show tonight, and I have no idea where this came from, it just popped in. It's something that I've thought about for a long time. There's not a lot out there, guys. I'm giving you guys a chance to visit over here in your chatting, because I know you guys like that. And I'm trying to put things in your head that might put you thinking a little bit different, instead of saying, well, I want this to happen now, you know, and it is, and you know, and I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but Patriot Diane was supposed to call if TNT had anything really, really good, because she was expecting something, but she didn't call.
He might not even be on yet.
Oh, Ron saying he might not.
All the time he was going to be
Okay. Oh, okay. Ron said she might not even be on yet. He might not even be on yet. But anyway, that's where we're at. And I mean, I know some of the things I've said tonight, you might think, especially for new people, and we have been getting a lot of new people. It seems like every show when I shut the show down, they always tell me how many new people joined that night. And the last couple shows, we've had 5 join one night and 8 joined another. So maybe people are starting to come over this way because we tell it the truth and we're a family and we try just to be, hi Karen, how are you doing? Cindy, how are you doing? KR.
Or a different Cindy, maybe.
I'm trying to read KR, AR, Bobby McPherson. Trying to read what you're saying there, but I don't understand quite the question about how do you feel about a single person that should meet because everyone's different. I think that anyone that doesn't understand that is already lost. Are you saying a single person that don't have people to reunite with? I don't understand what you're saying, but if someone in the chat can understand it, please try to answer his question. So anyway, I'm going to see what Restored Republic has, and then we're going to call it a night. This is Restored Republic via GCR as of May 19th, 2025. Judy Byington. Trust the plan. EBS worldwide, martial law, imminent. I was talking I think it was Ron this morning. And I said, Ron, I'm ready for the 10 days of darkness. I am. I'm ready for the 10 days of darkness just to get away, kind of like Calgon, take us away. But one thing I'm going to tell everyone here, Charlie and KRAR, Raquel, hey, Marianne, happy Monday. Happy Monday to you, Marianne. Marianne just sent me a message. Now, Marianne's on vacation, so she just sent me a message. She must have forgot the show was tonight. But for all of you here, it's... I lost my train of thought when I got talking about her. But anyway, during mass arrest, possible cyber attacks, or power grid shutoffs.
Diane says a no-go tonight.
Diane says no go tonight. Any indication when? No. Okay. Global bank asset seizures, big N, big G, activation, global currency reset, and quantum voting worldwide. Welcome to freedom. Simple gifts. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit before I continue with Restored Republic about the new Pope. He's supposed to be a White Sox fan. He sure didn't help us. Ever since he become Pope, I don't think we've won a game. But then again, what went on in the Vatican, I can understand why. But how long do you think he'll be Pope? How many days do you think they're going to give him? Before boom, boom, boom. How many days do you think they're going to give all these places it's supposed to go? Boom, boom, boom. As I said, guys, I've heard a very excitable president say that starting Memorial Day weekend or Memorial Day, I don't remember which one, I've heard him say things such as, we're going to start a celebration, and it's going to run till July 4th. But then he had to come back and correct it because he means July 4th next year. But when will that be? When will they go to the 13-month calendar? my main source on a 13-month calendar, who is Savior, I haven't been able to talk to her much lately. She's been very, very busy. As a matter of fact, we had the call tonight, and she had to leave early because her ride was there. Her ride was there. Her ride was there. Am I right, Myrna? Her ride was there. And guys, I give these.
She showed us the car.
She actually showed us the car pulling up. And see, when I talk about Savior, guys, if you've never talked to her, make it a point to get on Messenger and talk to her. I'm telling you, this is one of the most loving women I've ever met. As a matter of fact, this whole group is just a family. So, for the new people like KRAR, I don't know how long you've been in part of the group, but I know Mr. David Duffy, the General Lee under you, has been on a long, long time. And you can ask pretty much all of the regulars how close we are. Everything we've went through, and we have not had clear sailing. We've been kicked off of this site on 2 or 3 occasions, but it didn't hamper us. We came back. We kept it going. We have groups around, and Telegram and Messenger and Signal. And if you're new and you want to be part and stay part of this family, ask someone like Myrna or Bill or the General. Ask someone like Janet or Diane or whoever's, John, Papa G, to help you get in these groups. And they will. Judy Note, on May 16, 2025, the Hat signed the Big G into law, marking the beginning of the greatest financial and political shift in modern history. Mass arrests are happening. The IRS is goodbye. Federal Reserve is collapsing, and the quantum financial system is online. In a classified briefing, the Hat told his closest advisors, the people are ready. The world is ready. The financial stranglehold is over. We are taking back what is ours. The greatest wealth transfer in the history is about to begin. America is under military law as of May 2025, was no longer legally under maritime law, but common law. The Hat is a wartime president. SCOTUS has no authority under a wartime president except full mass media blackout, GITMO tribunal footage, global bank asset seizures, big N, big G activation, including global currency reset, finalization, and quantum voting worldwide. I cannot read this. Yes, from what I read, those long-awaited mass arrests have already begun. High-profile bankers, CEOs, and corrupt politicians were being rounded up and facing military tribunals. Yet, the mainstream media was forever silent, especially when it came to pointing fingers at the child, abusers. Their greed had made the world's top economies insolvent. The US, Canada, Europe, Japan, Israel, UK, Taiwan, Australia, and New Zealand could no longer sustain their debt any longer. Since 1913, the deep state global elites, I'm not going to read that, but they've stolen a lot of money, but I can't go into that. As a result of the fiat dollar causing disasters in international trade, a BRICS alliance, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa formed the BRICS nations, declared that they weren't going to put up with the corrupt fiat US dollar system anymore. BRICS took control and began to elevate the worth of each nation's gold and natural resources the beginning of global currency reset, the largest transfer of wealth in world history. The hat also formed the global military alliance, and globalist figureheads were falling under the alliance activation. VA chambers have been raided. HOLLYWOOD ritual sites shut down. NGO raids in the New York tech CEO seizures in Singapore. The Hatch Global Alliance military was collapsing the OCCULT system in phase Omega. Wednesday, 2 April 2025 was Liberation Day. On Wednesday, 14th May 2025, President the Hat unleashed the final phase of Community of Government reinstating Executive Order 13848. On May 16, 2025, the Hat signed Big G into law, making the beginning of the greatest financial and political shift in modern history. The gold-backed and fully decentralized quantum financial system was now online, a big N, big G, live and replacing the corrupt banking system that has enslaved us for centuries. Gold-backed currencies were being activated in sovereign nations enslaved through PREDATORY lending were breaking free. Illegal taxes were being eliminated. Central banks were collapsing. Personal and national debt were being erased. Stolen assets and funds were being returned to the people. No more fiat currency, slavery, or manipulation. The organic constitution has been reactivated. Sovereignty is returning not just to America, but to all free nations rising from the fog of globalism. The EBS will activate without warning. Encrypted channels will override civilian broadcasts. Meanwhile, behind the veil of the global currency reset was released, the gold-backed currencies mirrored into the QFAS nodes, debt instruments nullified through sovereign treaties, hidden wealth and stolen assets seized for redistribution. Redemption centers were secure and synchronized. Personally, I'm tired of trying to figure out which elites have been tied. I'm not going to go into that. As a matter of fact, guys, I think that's enough for tonight. We're approaching an hour. I want to thank everybody, the new people. If you don't know, we do speak in certain code, and you're welcome to ask people who the hat is, who the other things is, the big N, the big G, and the people will answer. After they answer, they will probably delete the answer because we just try to keep it simple here. We want to keep the show going. We've been going a long, long time. Over 5 years we've been doing this show. We're a group that we don't ask for money. We don't want your money. We just want you to come in and be part of the family, because this is a show. This is a family that when all of this is said and done and we have everything we're looking to get, we plan on working together. We plan on partying together. We plan on our kids being raised together, our grandkids being raised together. And we are just, as the song said, we are family. Okay? Do we have trouble here?
Trouble. You can't get out?
No. The situation that's going on with this gentleman here who just wants to see one shred of information, sir. We don't come here to doubt. We don't come to here. I mean, if you don't like the show, feel free to leave. We're not telling you to. We want you to be part of the family. But my moderators, they answer the questions the best they can. If you're not happy with the answers, well then, maybe this isn't a show for you. We can recommend some other shows for you. They will really blow smoke up your rear. What we do here is we try to build and keep people's confidence up. Keep them ascending and not descending. So I hope you understand that we're just a family here. Yeah, Janet says it right. And that's a good way to go. That's a good way to end our show tonight, Janet. Thank you. Janet says nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing. For all of you that's here tonight, thank you. For those who's got a little bit of a negativity, we're sorry we can't live up to your expectations, but we don't blow smoke up people's rear ends. We talk, we joke, we have fun. We're family. Everyone, good night. God bless, and we love you all.
Now, you should see the fun we were having on that